I mean, technically a C is a D.
I know.
Okay.
But I made it. I'm not
It's an A.
I know. That makes sense. It doesn't really have to do what I put.
I probably put,
I am being whimsical as well. Okay.
I don't like your
Okay. So let me kind of explain my thought process on the three solutions that I chose. One of them you should see that the cation gets formed into the elemental. One you should see the anion gets formed into the elemental. And one you should see neither the cation nor the anion react, and you just in that situation you reduce and oxidize water. Okay? So the first one you should form silver, the second one you should form iodine, and the third one is just the decomposition of water. Okay? Hopefully that's what you see. So what I'm looking for, like for example, on page 2, when you get those questions 1, 2, and 3, and you're justifying that answer, you need to justify what's happening at both of these. Okay? And just don't say, well, a substance appeared, or worse yet, it looks different. Oh my God.
It's new now. Something changed.
Something's changed. It's
It
new.
looks different.
something
It
changed,
looks
I think.
different. I see new bubbles. That's different. Okay. So, let me give you some hints as you go through this. So for example, if you look at the production of oxygen, okay, from water. So this is something that you need to know kind of without hesitation. If you take water,
It's some flowers up there. I'm sorry, that was bad news, I know.
You can always just flip your iPad around and we can all see it.
but then I can't write on it.
There you go.
Oh, just like,
It's like
Okay.
story time. We show the kids the picture.
so we have water.
Do you know what H2O is?
No.
Oh, actually, no.
So
Wait, that's vinegar.
what is that?
Is that
Shady. But I'm saying shady.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed.
bubbles formed? When
I
it's
thought you
reduced,
were
that means
class.
it releases.
What did you get for junior?
Well, I just rounded up, but it was like deeper.
Yeah.
And then I got.
It's basic. I have this.
Oh, pretty.
Put a smiley face on
Why would I say a lot?
Whoa.
How would you
You're
say
asking
it?
for a lot.
Did he say it?
Oh, this is a goldfish.
Okay, back to our story. So, one of the things that you need to figure out is, and have in your mind, the difference between the reduction and oxidation of water. And which one produces oxygen, and which one produces hydrogen, and which one produces hydronium ions, and which one produces hydroxide ions. Okay? That is something you need to have straight. Now, the beauty of it is, you don't have to have it memorized, you just have to be able to use your reduction table. So on the test tomorrow, you're going to have both copies of the reduction chart. You're going to have the blue one, and then you're also going to have the one that lists all of the big complex ions in those reduction charts, okay? So you're going to have both of those available to you on the test. So, start with this. Which one produces oxygen, the reduction or oxidation of water?
The oxidation.
Okay? So you start with water, and what are you going to get out of that on the oxidation of water, which is what you should have on the front page. So on the oxidation of water, what do you get? You get 4 electrons, and you get 4 hydroniums, and you get oxygen. Okay? So there's going to, and if you compare that to the reduction of water, which is 2H2O plus 2 electrons, getting hydrogen and OH. So here's the fundamental difference. And there's 2 visual clues that you can tell whether you're producing oxygen or hydrogen. One is, if you look at the molar ratio of water, you have 2 moles of hydrogen to every 1 mole of oxygen. So when you decompose water, guess what? You're gonna get twice as much hydrogen as you do oxygen. So if you have a solution and you have those electrodes in there, and the one that's producing more bubbles, guess what? That's the one that's producing hydrogen. The one that's producing less bubbles is gonna produce your oxygen. Now, associated with that, the one that does produce oxygen, you're gonna produce hydronium ions. When you produce hydronium ions, that's gonna make the solution acidic or basic. Acidic. So, oxygen is associated with hydronium ions. Hydrogen is associated with the production of hydroxides. Okay? So that's an easy way to remember. Hydrogen goes with hydroxide. Okay? Hydrogen, hydroxide. Hydrogen, hydroxide. So if you're producing hydroxide, and let's say, for example, you add phenolphthalein, what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to get a color change. Okay? So that's kind of the depth of understanding that you need with this. All right. So make sure, Sean, listen to me. On question number 4, you're going to have 3 reactions. Sean, on what 2 things should those equations be balanced?
Charges?
Charges?
No, number.
Not the number of particles.
Charges and?
I don't know what mine does.
And what?
Number of particles, number of.
Yes, number of particles.
You to merge back to you to us to you.
Well, thank you.
If you're not sure if you're right, see if they add up to both sides. Okay.
Maybe the reason why he retires.
He asked you that question
Yeah.
today, and you
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it is.
On the question with, on question number 8, with the amps and the silver, that answer should be between 0.2 and 0.5. Okay?
Number 7 at some point.
One of my silver is 107.
If you were to measure the initial pH, so what about sodium fluoride?
Yeah.
Okay.
What'd you get on an 8?
I don't know what I was doing. I didn't know what was happening.
I knew it was something with aspartame, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay. So, when I mixed that up, I started with solid sodium fluoride. Solid sodium fluoride, soluble or insoluble?
Soluble.
So what do you know about the KSP value?
Big.
It's big, because it would dissolve, right? Huge. So, because it's favored in the forward direction, this is what you're going to make. True? Now, let's play the what if game. What if I had used sodium chloride in this reaction? Would the chloride ion react with the water to form HCl and hydroxide? No. Why?
Conjugate base of a strong acid.
Conjugate base off of a strong acid, the chloride ion will not react with the water. The pH would stay at,
0. I mean, not 0, 7. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? 0.
how about at
changes.
7
Yeah.
or 0?
Is this 12?
Basically 0.
Basically 0, if you round
Oh,
it
we're
down.
at
0,
7.
nothing changes.
7.
Okay, so it's gonna stay at 7.
I said 0 too.
So, will the fluoride ion react with water?
Yeah.
Why?
Hydrofluoric is a weak acid.
Because can you find the Ka value of hydrofluoric acid?
Yes.
Yes. Is the Ka value a big number or a small number? It's a small number, which means it is not spontaneous, right? Because you have a negative. You would have a negative E naught value, so what that means, if you take hydrofluoric acid and try and ionize it, that is not favored in the forward direction. That's why you have a small Ka value. What would be the sign of delta G?
Positive.
Positive. Why?
Not spontaneous.
Spontaneous. What about the E naught value?
Negative.
Negative. All three of those things you have to have straight in your mind. Okay? So, because you're generating hydroxide ions, what should happen to the pH? You're welcome. Let me see if that's you. I can make sure I read it.
No, it
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pop. It's basically
Okay.
pop.
That's a good sign for you.
On number 8, excuse me, on number 9. Well, hold on, let me see. I gotta change it. Yeah, 9. So on number 9, that K value should be something times 10 to the negative 30th.
Negative 30.
Negative 30th.
I got 15. I also got 15.
What?
Oh wait, there is a one.
Negative 30? On which one?
9.
9.
So I didn't know.
What do you have as your not value?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was thinking for you. I'm like, oh.
Alright.
What's your in value?
I started this during top this morning. Like, I mean, that's it. I had 0 written on the paper before.
Oh, because it's 4 on the thing, on the balance equation.
And if you guys are ever going, I'll
Yeah. That was
On
my only thought.
number 10,
10.
with the copper and the silver nitrate,
Okay?
that K value should be something times 10 to the 15th. Why?
Like, you want an answer to that, or is that just a hypothetical question?
Because what,
It's
Sydney?
spontaneous reaction, so your K value's gonna be lower.
Yeah, it wants to go in that direction, so you have a big K value. Okay? Make sure when you answer that last question with the water and the phenolphthalein indicator, make sure you mention everything that I mentioned. You've got battery, leads, and graphite. Explain how you can determine what is the anode and which is the anode. What are you going to observe and how you can determine the identity? What are you going to see? And so help me if you write, oh, it's going to look different, I will flunk you. Not on this assignment, but the entire class.
Oh!
I will find a way.
We have a test tomorrow.
Don't bother.
Well, I just won't show up to school.
Not if you write, it's going to look different.
But what if it isn't?
But that's correct.
All right, anything else on the lab? Should be good.
What'd you get for your?
If you want to hold on to this lab and hand it in tomorrow, you can. Okay? It's up to you. Not a big deal if you want to hold on to it. It's whatever works for you.
Should the delta G on 10 be around negative 90-ish?
Okay. Does anybody want?
In kilojoules?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome. All right, Kevin, stop you on the camera for a second.
So should I turn it in or not?